Hello, my name is Jack O'Neill, and today we're going to be taking a look at quality versus quantity, a look at morale in the workplace. I represent Team Sublime, along with Claudia, Jenny, and Haley. The people we're going to be addressing is companies in general and all the stakeholders that surround them. So the problem is morale in the workplace. And by that, I mean morale is a very interesting thing. You see it all the time that companies are having employees who do not feel valued within their company. And that's very difficult because people work differently. A lot of people have different work ethics, especially going into new companies, and sometimes the work ethic of a supervisor might not mesh with the employees. So we're looking at individualization in those terms, where some people might go a little bit slower than other people, or like to take their time, be more meticulous, where other people want to just get the job done and get something out. But this also rests on supervisors as well. Sometimes if they fail to integrate employees successfully, this can cause problems later down the road when you might need them to step up or have them in a different role. And looking more deeply, micromanaging is definitely a huge problem that I've experienced myself, and it just makes you feel like there's no value to you at all. Like you have to be walked through every single thing you do. And poor morale can actually lead to higher turnover rates, and turnover rates for companies in general can be very, very costly, both with money and time. I know that sometimes turnovers can cost up to $2,000 just to train someone up. So we are looking to figure out how a company can be successful where everyone in the company has their needs met. So how might we create a business model that highly values employees and develops quality outcomes while meeting a large quota to adequately meet the needs of the company? So looking at the two opposing models, model one is quality as a whole. This model dives deep into taking your time and focusing really on how the employees are doing. One-on-one time, especially work with a supervisor, can be hard to come by in companies, but it can do astronomical things for the employee and the supervisor. One, it makes you learn the craft of whatever you're doing in the company way more, precisely, which helps you and feel good about what you create rather than just having someone looking over your shoulder the whole time. And supervisors, once they know and once they've trained with them more one-on-one and more proficiently, they're able to adhere to the strengths and weaknesses of the employee. Because like I said, some people might be really good at tills or something. Someone else might be really good at line or making the product in general. And the product itself is the best product that it can be. They want it to wow people. They want it to be something that people want to come back to. And that's looking at the community as well. If you can find a product that gets the people talking, you're in good standings, especially with that. So it's more sought after by the stakeholders, that being the community. Model 2 focus on the quantity mentality. Now this is more fast-paced. This is about meeting quotas, and quotas are very important, especially for companies. If these quotas are met, increases the morale for both employee and employer because they know that they're both winning and they're both getting money, and which is great compensation. But this is all based on efficiency, because if things are not going too fast, you could be losing revenue because you might not be able to get too much product out the door or the service. But looking at the product in general, you always want to keep supply high. You want to make sure that when customers come back, they're not going to have to worry whether or not you're going to run out or something like that, because then they'd have to leave and then have to come back at a different date. So the solutions that we're looking at is that we want to find a solution that finds the equilibrium between both of them. Just like supply and demand in economics, quality and quantity are both very, very important. And if you're able to find that equilibrium, then everything will start working at the highest capacity you can. And that all starts with respect for the employees, both with Model 1 and Model 2. If the company respects the employees, then the employees will respect the supervisors, they will respect the product, and everything will contribute to the culture that is created within the company. That's why when turnover rates are low, you know that you're doing something right because the employees feel good about working at the establishment. But if you're able to focus on quotas, standards, and expectations, everything will start to be really good. Also look at compensation for the employees in case they want to move up in the company. But that depends on the type of work ethic they have as well. Some people want to stay at maybe a lower level, or some people want to rise. It just depends on what their work ethic is. The benefits for our solution is that if you keep morale high, especially on a quality basis, then people will keep being proud of the work that they're putting into it. They want to make the product. They want to get the product out. Or if it's a service, same thing. But the product is always going to be up to par, and make sure that the customer is always happy with their purchase or use of service. And honestly though, having a quality and happy workplace really tends to rub off on people. When customers come in the door, they're happy to be there because they see that you are happy, or the employees are happy themselves. Now looking at quantity too, it's all about revenue too with companies, because if there's no revenue, there's no business. So keeping the eye on the prize and trying to make those higher sales, kind of making it a competition a little bit, but friendly of course, that will make things go better with revenue. And that will allow people to move up and eventually make more money as well. So our appeal to the solution is that employees need to be cared for, because they are honestly the backbone of the company. Looking at integrative coaching, especially with managers, I always loved it when my coaches in sports were always able to do the work that they asked us to do with us. So when you see the managers doing the work that they ask you to do as well, you don't feel that there's a hierarchy in the system, and that you can really focus on being the best you can be at the job. And keeping individuality or adhering to strengths and weaknesses is huge. And if people are able to do that, they know what they like. If they're a people person, they'll stay at the front. If they like making things, maybe be in the back making food or something along those lines. But flexibility in general, in order to adapt to certain situations, is going to really adhere to finding that really good equilibrium in the workplace. Here are our references, and thank you so much.